Hello, welcome back to the kitchen. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you who may have watched a previous video, quite a recent one that's only just gone out, would have seen that I used my Smokai for smoking some brisket. And I refilled it twice without giving it a clean in between or anything like that. And it seemed to go okay, but there were a couple of little things that I've had couple of little issues I've had with this device over the last few months when I've been using it, and I posted videos on issues around clogging and moisture content, and this particular burn wasn't without its issues. So I was using birch chip, so if you come down onto the bench I'll show you the chip that I was actually using for this. So this is the chip I was using. This is a birch chip. Now these are between 2mm and 10mm size chips, and that's the recommendation in the manual for the Smokai smoke generator. So these chips are the correct chips and they work okay. They're nice and dry, although that can be an issue in terms of how long these burn for, but it's not really an issue in terms of their ignitability, unless obviously they are completely soaking wet. But let me take you through the issues that I did have here. It was a good burn. I was using the battery operated air pump, and this was on continuously for about 16 to 18 hours whilst I was actually doing the smoking, and it had absolutely no issues at all. So this went on fully charged, and I ran this for that length of time, and it was still on 3 battery bars out of 4.
Look at that, still got 3 bars of its battery left.
So I was quite impressed with that. That was very good. Right, let me show you the inside of here, because I did have some issues with moisture. And if you look at that, you can see that there's quite a lot of smoke residue on that, and we did get quite a lot of moisture, and this is not unusual. You do get moisture when you combust wood chips. It's just part of the natural process. Doesn't matter how dry these chips are, that will happen. But I wanted to take this apart on the bench, because I've just bought this in off the stacker smoker. Haven't touched it at all inside, so you are going to be seeing what's in this smoke generator for the first time. And we'll dismantle it on the bench. So if I just angle this down here so you can see what I'm doing. So I'll just pop some gloves on here because I don't really want to get tar on my hands. And we'll start taking this apart. Okay, so first things first is to take off this baffle. Comes off easily enough, and that's got quite a lot of residue on it, so you can see that there. That is particularly messy. Now let's see if I can take this smoke nozzle out. Okay, this has got quite a lot of gunk on it. Okay, it's coming out, but that is quite tough. You will see I've got some grips on the table here just in case, but I'm hoping not to use those. But that seems to have come out nicely. It sort of cleaned itself as it's come out as well. So there is a bit of smoke residue on that. And oh, actually, I've only just noticed that, but if you look in there, you'll see, I don't know if you'll see it better on that camera or this one, but there is actually some residue in there. So let me just press that out with my finger. Actually, I don't think that's going to come out with my finger, but let's see. Oh, let's get this nozzle out of the way. Let's have a look here. Yeah, there's quite a lot of gum on that. That's still not very clear. And this was only after 2 burns, so this was completely scrupulously clean when I used it before. So I'll get another sheet of paper out. and then I'll open the base of the smoke generator so we can see the ash that it's produced. I didn't, like I said, I didn't clean this out after I used it. Okay, so this is as you find it. Okay, there we go. So I won't tap that, but I'll just let you have a look and see. You can have a look in there, you'll see that there is a little bit of residue on the sides, but not a massive amount. I wouldn't say that that was significantly a problem.
So you can see that there. That's literally all round the outside, and I think that's just
a symptom of the products of combustion and moisture sticking those wood chips to the side. So let's take this off. There are a few wood chips that aren't burnt. That's not too much of a problem, sort of expected. And that is the sum total. That is the sum total of ash and sort of partially burnt wood chip from 2 of these. So 2 of those into that. It does recommend in the instructions to clean this out between burns, but I did 2 burns. It gave me, I would say, around about 16 hours of smoke, and I didn't clean it out in between. So there we go. When I did this before, I got this issue here called bridging. Now, I've spoken about this briefly in another video, but it's basically the phenomena where when this is set up like so, and you've got smoke coming in, air coming in here, smoke coming out here, you've got combustion going on in here. What happens is you get the moisture coming up through here, mixing with a little bit of smoke and products of combustion. You get this tarry residue. It essentially sticks the wood chips together and it forms a bridge. And it prevents any further wood dropping down into the area where the combustion takes place. That can be a problem, and it does recommend coming out from time to time and giving that a tap to drop it down. Now, those of you that cold smoke regularly, like myself, will not like the idea of having to go out regularly checking your equipment all the time. Once or twice, yes, fine, but not, you know, every couple of hours when you're doing something like a 16-hour burn. It's just not practical. So you need to keep an eye on that. Now, I didn't get clogging on this occasion. What were the weather conditions like? Well, it was dry, it was cold, but it was also, we had no rain in the air, so it was actually quite dry in terms of the relative humidity, and I think that might have been an issue too.
Well, rather than an issue, I think what I mean is that the dry atmosphere may well have been a contributory factor towards this particular burn not clogging.
We still got a lot of moisture. I mean, you can see there were rivers of moisture on that. I'm going to put a video out soon. I didn't want this to be a top 10 tips for using the Smokai Magnum, but I will do a video so that you can get the best out of one of these smoke generators, because I think they are a nice bit of kit, but they're not without their issues. And I think being aware of that when you purchase one of these, because they're not particularly cheap, I think it's really important. Anyway, that is pretty much all I've got to say on this. I am going to be cleaning this and just use soapy water and a scourer to get rid of this residue. I might need to do something with that, and I think the smoke residue should come off the baffle quite easily. So that's my job for the next hour or so, giving this a bit of a clean, and we'll catch up with it at the end, see it all looking nice and gleaming like new.
Well, I'm just using the back of the knife here to see if I can remove some of the more stubborn bits of burnt wood.
So it does work. It's taking some stuff off, but it's a slow old process. So this has got quite a lot of residue still on it. I need to give this a bit of a going over with the old scourer. I'm going to give that another go and we'll see how I get on.
Well, I found using the scourer after using the knife was quite an effective method for getting rid of as much of those burnt products of combustion that were stuck onto the side of the smoker.
Alright, we'll let that drain off. Shreds your gloves as well, so this isn't the first pair of gloves I've actually had on already, so that's already gone there. So yeah, double glove is probably the key. You can see the smoke tube here. I've given that a really good clean, but it's still got a little bit of residue in there. Now, you know, I was actually giving it some stick, so I was using the back of that knife there, that edge, to sort of scrape round to get that, and also using the metal scourer as well in some soapy water. I mean, you can see the colour of that water. So that is the base. That is about as clean as I can get that. The baffle is okay. That's pretty clean. That's bog standard. The lid I unscrewed from the wooden base because obviously that was didn't want to soak the wooden base, but that's clean as a whistle. And the main body of the smoker, well, I'm not massively impressed with the cleaning of that. So you can see that I've got some of that off around the edge. Needs a little bit more work on that. If I turn it upside down, you might be able to see that a little bit better. I've got the smoke tube clean, and I'll run that through with a little toothpick or something just to make sure that there's nothing obstructing that. Well, I hope you found that video useful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel, give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next video, folks. Hopefully without these gloves and not smelling like an old bonfire. Right, see ya, bye.